I lived in fear of falling, of breaking my hip, of depending on someone to even get out of bed. They told me it was normal, that it was a sign of age. But I discovered that osteoporosis has a solution, and that our bones still want to live. In this video, I share with you a natural, science-based plan that I apply every day. What to eat, how to move, how to replenish what your body is lacking, and how to regain your strength, confidence, and autonomy even after your 60s. If you or someone you love is in constant pain, has lost height, is afraid of fractures, or wants to avoid hospitalization due to a fall, then this video is for you. Subscribe to the channel and activate notifications to receive weekly content on health, longevity, and quality of life after the age of 60. Share this video with your friends and family. Together, we can age more freely. Have you ever heard of someone who fell from their own height and broke their femur? Or maybe you have a friend who lives with constant pain in their hips, back, or wrists and can no longer walk safely. This is not just age, it has a name, and that name is osteoporosis. But what almost no one tells you is that there are real ways to prevent, stabilize, and even reverse this bone weakening, even after you're 60. Osteoporosis is known as the silent disease. It gives no warning or obvious symptoms until the first shock. A simple slip in the bathroom can result in a fracture that completely changes an elderly person's life. Data from the International Osteoporosis Foundation, IOF, shows that 1 in 3 women and 1 in 5 men over the age of 50 will suffer an osteoporotic fracture. And most alarmingly, 20% of elderly people who fracture their hip die within a year after the fall, due to direct or indirect complications such as thrombosis, infections, or total loss of mobility. But it doesn't have to be that way. Many people believe that osteoporosis is a natural part of aging, that bones become weaker and that's it. But the truth is that there are factors that accelerate this process, and that can be avoided or combated with simple and consistent actions. First of all, let's understand what's really going on inside your body. Your bones are not rigid, dead structures like stone. They are living, constantly renewing tissues. In a healthy adult, the body carries out a continuous process called bone remodeling. Cells called osteoblasts build new bone, while osteoclasts resorb old bone for maintenance. But over time, and especially with poor habits, the balance between these cells becomes disrupted. The result? Hollow, porous, fragile bones. A simple test called a bone density test can reveal the stage of osteoporosis. If your T-score is below 2.5, it means your bone mineral density is dangerously low. But even if you don't have access to this test right now, your body may be sending you subtle signals. Back pain with no clear cause, loss of height over time, shrinkage, more hunched posture, hunchback, recurrent or unexplained fractures, teeth that come loose easily, and the big question many people ask themselves, is there a way back? And the answer is yes, as long as you take action. Let's start by talking about the most neglected basis for bone health: diet. Forget the outdated idea that all you need to do is drink milk and everything will be solved. Calcium is important, but it doesn't work alone. Your body needs other allies to make sure that calcium goes to the right place: your bones, not your arteries or kidneys. The first essential nutrient is vitamin D3. Without it, calcium is not absorbed. And here is a worrying fact. More than 60% of the population over 60 years of age is deficient in vitamin D, according to the Ministry of Health. The main source of vitamin D is sun exposure, preferably with arms and legs uncovered for at least 20 minutes a day, between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. without sunscreen. But be careful. If you live in regions with little sunlight or have darker skin, this exposure may be insufficient. In these cases, supplementation may be recommended, always under professional supervision. Another essential nutrient is magnesium. It participates in the formation of bone matrix and regulates hormones related to calcium metabolism. Foods rich in magnesium include pumpkin seeds, chestnuts, spinach, and bananas. And let's not forget type 1 collagen, the most abundant in bone tissue. As we age, collagen production declines, and this directly affects bone strength. Natural sources include bone broth, unsweetened gelatin, eggs, and fish with skin. Now for perhaps the biggest hidden villain: Foods that rob you of your minerals. Sodas high in phosphates, excess salt, refined sugar, and excessive alcohol are true calcium thieves. A Harvard University study showed that women who regularly consume soda have significantly lower bone density, even though they consume normal amounts of calcium. Want a real example? Mrs. Elza, 68, retired, used to drink soda every day at lunch. She never liked milk and rarely went out in the sun. In 2 years, she suffered 2 fractures, one in her wrist after slipping and another in her ankle while walking on the sidewalk. After starting a more balanced diet, including eggs, sardines, sautéed kale, fresh orange juice, and bone broth once a week, in addition to walking 30 minutes a day, her bone density increased by 8% in just 14 months. According to her doctor, she left the osteoporosis zone and entered osteopenia, the previous, more controllable stage. And that's the powerful point. No matter how old you are, your bone can still regenerate, but it needs raw materials, stimulation, and protection. And then comes the other essential part: movement. Bone is a tissue that responds to force. The more you stimulate your body with exercise, especially low-impact exercise like walking, climbing stairs, dancing, or even body weight exercises, the more your bone understands it needs to strengthen. Resistance exercises with elastic bands, light squats, upright posture, stretching, all of this contributes to keeping the body functional and bones strong. You don't need a gym or fancy equipment. Just use your own body as a resistance tool. And if you can, walk outside. You get 2 benefits in one: exercise plus vitamin D. Many people believe they're doing everything right, taking calcium, avoiding falls, taking a walk here and there. But what most people don't realize is that, even with good intentions, there are everyday habits that are silently sabotaging bone health. And the scary thing is that most of these habits are considered normal, which is why they go unnoticed until it's too late. Here are 5 silent habits that could be weakening your bones, and what you can do to stop the process today. 1. Excess salt in the diet. Excess salt is one of the main thieves of calcium from the body. Every time we consume too much sodium, the body tries to balance this load by excreting calcium through the kidneys. In other words, the more salt you consume, the more calcium you eliminate. According to the World Health Organization, the recommended daily limit of salt is 5 grams per day, the equivalent of a level teaspoon. But Brazilians consume, on average, almost double that. And the worst part, the salt isn't just in the salt shaker, it's hidden in industrialized breads, cold cuts such as ham, mortadella, and turkey breast, ready-made soups and broths, frozen foods, industrialized seasonings. What to do? Start by reducing your use of ready-made seasonings and replacing them with natural herbs such as rosemary, oregano, turmeric, garlic, and fresh onion. Your taste buds will adapt over time, and your bones will thank you from day one. 2. Soft drinks and phosphate-sweetened beverages. You may have heard that soda is bad for you, but you may not know the real reason. The phosphoric acid present in most formulas, especially colas and guarana, directly interferes with calcium absorption. It alters the pH of the blood, forcing the body to seek alkaline minerals to balance the internal environment. And guess where it gets it from? From your bones. A Tufts Study University in Boston revealed that women who drink soda daily have up to 4% less bone mineral density in the hips. What to do? Eliminate soda, even the zero sugar ones, from your routine. Replace it with water flavored with lemon, mint, ginger slices, or cinnamon. In addition to being refreshing, these options help with digestion and don't rob you of minerals. 3. Smoking and frequent use of anti-inflammatory drugs. Smoking directly interferes with the metabolism of calcium and vitamin D. Nicotine impairs the function of osteoblasts, the cells that build bone, and accelerates bone reabsorption. In addition, smoking affects circulation, making it difficult to oxygenate tissues, including bones. Likewise, prolonged use of medications such as corticosteroids and non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, such as ibuprofen and diclofenac, can reduce calcium absorption in the intestine and increase renal excretion. What to do? If you smoke, seek medical help to stop the habit. If you take medication regularly, Talk to your doctor to evaluate alternatives or the need for associated supplementation. 4. High caffeine consumption, especially on an empty stomach. Here's a habit that surprises many people. Caffeine, when consumed in large quantities and without food in the stomach, can increase the excretion of calcium in the urine. This doesn't mean you need to give up coffee, but rather balance your intake and avoid drinking it alone first thing in the morning, especially if you already have osteopenia or osteoporosis. According to National Osteoporosis Foundation, doses above 300 milligrams of caffeine per day, approximately 3 cups of strong coffee, can already have a negative impact on more sensitive people. What to do? Drink coffee after a light meal, such as a breakfast with protein and good fats, e.g., scrambled eggs and a slice of avocado, and limit yourself to 2 cups a day, if possible. Green tea or herbal tea are excellent substitutes in the afternoon. 5. Sedentary lifestyle and long periods of sitting. This is perhaps the most common habit and the most dangerous. Our bodies were made to move. Bones need constant physical stimulation to maintain their density. When we spend many hours sitting, lying down, or with little mechanical load, the bones understand that they are no longer needed and begin to demineralize. A study published in the journal Bone Health and Mobility shows that elderly people who remain seated for more than 8 hours a day have almost twice the risk of spontaneous fractures. What to do? For every 60 minutes of sitting, stand up for 5 minutes. Take a short walk around the house, climb a flight of stairs, or do some stretching. These micro movements throughout the day have a cumulative effect. And if you want to go further, start a simple exercise routine that we will present in the next block, especially designed for those over 60 who want to strengthen bones safely, without excessive impact and without having to leave home. But before we get there, I want you to reflect. How many of these habits are part of your routine without you noticing? How many of you might be weakening your bones right now as you watch this video? You may be thinking, okay, I understand what is weakening my bones, but what can I do in my daily life to reverse this in a safe and natural way? That is exactly what we are going to show you now. A practical and realistic plan divided into 3 pillars: diet, movement, and supplementation. This triad, applied correctly, can restore your firmness, the confidence to walk, and most importantly, your autonomy. Let's start with the basics. Diet. Because bones are made of much more than just calcium. And without the right nutrients, they can't regenerate, even if you take medications or supplements. First step, daily nutrition to strengthen your bones. A healthy diet for people with osteoporosis should contain foods rich in calcium from a variety of sources, combined with vitamins and minerals that promote proper absorption. Below are the main elements: highly absorbable calcium sources, dark leaves like kale sautéed in olive oil, sardine with bones, steamed broccoli, sesame or sesame paste, known as tahini. Foods that stimulate the production of type 1 collagen. Homemade bone broth using chicken carcasses or beef bones cooked for 12 hours. Whole boiled or scrambled eggs. Fish with skin, such as salmon, sources of natural antioxidants and anti-inflammatories. Fruits, such as strawberries and fruit. Blackberries, turmeric with freshly ground black pepper. Extra virgin olive oil. Brazil nut, example of a balanced daily menu. Breakfast, 2 scrambled eggs with fresh oregano. A level tablespoon of sesame paste on wholemeal bread. A banana sprinkled with ground cinnamon. A cup of chamomile tea or a cup of coffee with plant-based milk. Lunch, brown rice, lentils sautéed with garlic and onion. Butterhead cabbage sautéed in olive oil. Grilled sardines with lemon. 1 tablespoon of toasted pumpkin seeds. Afternoon snack, a portion of natural yogurt, a handful of berries, 3 Brazil nuts or walnuts. Dinner, a homemade vegetable soup with pieces of chicken cooked on the bone, a medium slice of baked sweet potato, a cup of fennel tea. Important. For better absorption of minerals, avoid drinking strong coffee or caffeinated teas with large meals. Opt for mild drinks, such as herbal teas. Second stage, safe movement to activate bone building. Contrary to what many people think, bones are not strengthened with medication alone. They need physical stimulation. The more you move, the more your body understands that it needs to strengthen its internal structures. But this does not mean doing heavy or dangerous exercises. Here are 3 simple and effective exercises, ideal for those over 60. First exercise, chair-assisted squat. Stand in front of a sturdy chair. Lower yourself slowly, as if you were going to sit down, without leaning back completely. Return to standing position. Repeat 10 times in 3 sets. This movement strengthens legs, hips, and helps with balance. Second exercise, alternating walking on heels and toes. Walk indoors for 1 minute with only your heels touching the floor. Then walk for a minute on your toes only. Repeat for a total of 5 minutes. This exercise activates deep muscles that stabilize your ankles, knees, and hips. Third exercise, posture with light weights. Take 2 small bottles of water, approximately 500 milliliters each. Stand with your back straight and your arms at your sides, holding the weights. Hold this position for 30 seconds. Repeat 3 times, with short pauses. This exercise strengthens the shoulders, arms, and thoracic spine, areas often affected by osteoporosis. Extra tip, climb 1 flight of stairs a day and descend carefully. The act of climbing creates a slight impact that stimulates bone density in the hips and legs. Third step, supplementation to fill nutritional gaps. As we age, even with a healthy diet, the body has difficulty absorbing all the essential nutrients. Supplementation can help fill these gaps. Here are the top supplements recommended for bone health, based on scientific evidence. Vitamin D3 combined with vitamin K2 in the form MK7. Vitamin D helps with calcium absorption. Vitamin K2 guides calcium into the bones, preventing it from accumulating in the arteries. The standard dosage used in studies ranges from 2,000 international units of vitamin D to 90 micrograms of vitamin K2 per day. Always consult a healthcare professional to adjust this dose based on blood tests. Chelated magnesium, or citrate, essential to activate vitamin D. Participates in the formation of the bone matrix. Common dosage, 300 to 400 milligrams per day, divided between morning and evening. Hydrolyzed collagen type 1 associated with vitamin C. Collagen helps support the structure of bones. Vitamin C is essential for the formation of new collagen fibers. Usual dose, 10 grams of collagen with 500 milligrams of vitamin C per day. Organic silicon. Facilitates the deposition of minerals in the bones. It can be found in supplements based on horsetail or bamboo extract. Its use must be done under professional guidance. Does this all sound like a lot? Then listen to this true story. Dona Celia, a 73-year-old from Curitiba, suffered 2 falls in less than a year. The first resulted in a broken wrist. The second almost left her in a wheelchair. After that, she began to follow exactly this plan. She walked around the block for 20 minutes every day, ate turmeric and black pepper in her meals, drank bone broth twice a week, and began taking vitamin D3 and collagen supplements. A year later, her bone density test showed improvement. But most importantly, she could walk again without a cane. She could dance again at church services. She could live independently again. And that's what we want for you. Perhaps the biggest threat to our bone health isn't falling, or age, or even a lack of calcium. The biggest threat for many is believing the myths that make us give up the fight. So, before I end this video, I need to show you the 3 most dangerous traps that make many people abandon osteoporosis treatment, and how you can avoid them starting today. First myth, if it doesn't hurt, it's okay. This is one of the biggest misconceptions. Osteoporosis is called the silent disease for a reason. It doesn't cause pain until a bone fractures. You can lose up to 30% of your bone mass without noticing any symptoms. That's why so many people only discover they have the disease after a fall, when the damage is already done. How to combat this myth? Get your bone density test regularly, especially if you are over 60, have had fractures, or have a family history of the disease. And remember, maintaining preventive habits before symptoms appear is what really changes the fate of your bones. Second myth, there's no point in doing anything, it's just a matter of age. This sentence, unfortunately, has destroyed more bones than any accident. It is true that aging brings about a loss of bone density, but the speed and severity of that loss depend directly on your choices. Science has already proven that, even after 60 or 70 years, it is possible to stabilize bone loss, reversing osteopenia, gain muscle strength, prevent fractures with diet, movement, and supplementation. How to combat this myth? Adopt a simple and consistent routine. You don't need a gym or expensive medicine. You need discipline, real food, sunlight on your skin, and exercises with your own body weight. Your body responds. Your structure is still alive. Third myth: I already take calcium, so I'm protected. Calcium alone is not enough. Without vitamin D, magnesium, collagen, and vitamin K, this calcium can end up in the wrong place, like in the kidneys, forming stones, or in the arteries, causing calcifications. Furthermore, many calcium supplements sell promises that are not balanced. The secret lies in the combination of nutrients, the time of consumption, and their individual absorption. How to combat this myth? Build your strategy based on 3 pillars: varied diet rich in vegetables, sun and daily movement, appropriate supplements, always under the guidance of a professional. And now that you know the complete plan, I want to leave you with a final thought. Bones support our bodies, but it's our choices that support our lives. If you want to walk with a steady foot, climb stairs without fear, dance without stumbling, play with your grandchildren, or simply get out of bed with confidence, start now. You don't have to do it all at once. Start with one change: a new food on your plate, 5 more minutes of sunlight, a walk around the block, a glass of bone broth, a squat with the support of a chair. The important thing is to take the first step. And if you want support, guidance, and a community that walks with you, subscribe to the channel now. Here, every week, we bring you evidence-based content, real stories, and natural solutions for your health, autonomy, and quality of life. Share this video with someone you love. A simple piece of information can prevent a fracture. It can save a life. And remember, your bones are alive, and they still want to take you far. See you in the next video.